Hello guys, we are back in new fanfic, and if enjoying this then please share and like part 2. Now let's start the fanfic. It has been 6 months since Naruto, Itachi and Yugao have been placed under the Sandaime as their Jonin sensei. Naruto and his team have been excited at the prospect of learning from the person who is hailed as the god of shinobi, all across elemental nations. They came up with a routine for them to train and do their missions. The last 6 months they have trained each day, except Sunday, from 7 a.m. in the morning to 1 p.m. in the noon. After that they would do D-ranked missions, and then go home. This was their routine for the first 2 months. At the end of the first 2 months into their lives as genin, they got their first C-ranked mission. It was simple delivery mission to Tokigakure. The mission went relatively normal, except for a group of bandits attacking them. After the success of their mission, they went on to do another 5 C-ranked missions up till date. As for their training, well, it could be defined as plain torture. The old Hokage had worked each of them past their own limits. The 3 genins have grown in leaps and bounds. Naruto had increased his control over his Kekkei Genkei, where he could now control the small bits of black sand along with his cobalt and golden one. He also had trained his fire, water and earth affinities under the old Hokage the most. For lightning he went to Kakashi, who is a master of lightning. As for wind, he only had himself to rely on as he was one of the only 3 shinobi in Konoha with the said affinity. Though he got occasional tips from Asuma, he still had to do almost everything on his own. Fuinjutsu can be the only one where Naruto had improved the most, where he could proudly proclaim himself to be a level 7 seal master. He was the first person in history to reach level 7 at the age nearly 9, but he didn't let this get to his head as he knew that the last 3 levels were the toughest, and plus, he had still to match the levels of Mito Uzumaki. The late Mito-sama was a level 18 seal master, something his parents were not. He planned on reaching her level. Itachi had also improved tremendously under Hiruzen. He now had a fully matured Sharingan, with 3 tomos in each of his eyes. He had also improved his fire affinity to the point that many not Jonin could match him. Only Hiruzen, Naruto, Shisui and few others could match him in his control over fire. He had also trained his other affinity as well. He had taken help from his sensei and his father to help his control over the lightning element. He also taken up mastering the Uchiha Interceptor Fist by training with Shisui. Yugao had improved her control over her water element a lot under Hiruzen. He had helped her mix her water element with her katana to attack. It had actually made her more lethal than the other 2 in her team when it came to close quarter fights. Hiruzen had also started her on the famous Dance with the Raging Water Goddess sword style. It was one of the deadliest styles developed by the Uzumakis. She had obviously asked Naruto for permission and literally begged him to allow her the access to his library. Naruto obviously allowed her without a second thought. So, she has been learning the style ever since. Though she was just beginning on the novice katas of the style. The biggest surprise was when Naruto had taken up Bojutsu. He said that he at least wanted to master on art of Bukijutsu. With Itachi and Yugao going for Kenjutsu, he went for Bojutsu. Hiruzen was more than happy to teach Naruto his styles in Bojutsu. They had gone on to buy a staff made of a special kind of metal. It was quite big for a 9-year-old, but seals always came in handy for such cases. So, with a special staff of his own, Naruto started his Bojutsu training under the Sandaime. They have also become the center of attention of the entire village in the last 6 months. The news that Hiruzen Sarutobi had taken on another genin team had spread like a wildfire across the village. By the end of the day, civilians and many shinobi bowed their heads in front of them. All of them expected great things from Naruto's team. Naruto and Itachi became kind of celebrity in the village, due to them being heir of the Uzumaki and Uchiha clans in Konoha. But, Makoto had taken up the role to beat out any ideas of superiority from their heads. Overall, both of them quite humble even after receiving such treatment from the village. Yugao also became famous being the student of the Sandame, but she not to the same extent as her other two teammates. Though Yugao has become quite annoyed by the fangirls that had been gathering around her crush. Her feelings for Naruto had deepened over time, and now she was annoyed by these fangirls trying to catch his attention. Right now, we see Team 7 engaged with their sensei in a sparring match, well, if it can be called sparring. Thud, thud, thud. The sound of three broken bodies hitting the ground unceremoniously rang through the clearing. Naruto and his friends lying there beaten and bruised. Standing a little farther away with smile on his face, was Hiruzen Sarutobi. He was quite pleased with the progress of his students. He could clearly say that both Naruto and Itachi were low Jonin level, where Yugao was high Chunin level in terms of overall skills. His students have followed his instruction to the word. Their teamwork was quite impressive, even considering the fact that they used to train together. Another thing that has been observed not only by him but also his Anbu commander, is that Naruto is the unspoken de facto leader among the three of them. Though the other two also gave their opinion, they let Naruto do the maximum planning. Well done, three of you, you all actually managed to land a few hits on me. Now, that doesn't mean you were all perfect. Naruto, you need work on your strength. Itachi, while you also need to work on your strength, you have to work on your reflexes. Lastly, Yugao, you need to work on your flexibility. The stance you practice needs a flexible body, so you need that. Other than that, your teamwork was quite good. You worked together as a cohesive unit and tried to attack my weak points, which was clever part of the plan. Now today's training session is over. I have some paperwork to do, let's meet tomorrow again. I will teach you something really interesting. Goodbye. Saying his part, the Hokage left in a swirl of leaves. Groaning on the ground, the three genin stood up wobblily. Man, Sensei sure doesn't take it easy on us. This is the 5th time this month that my whole body is sore from the pain, Naruto said. He watched as his friends rubbed their sore spots just like him. Yugao replied, yes, Naruto-kun, Sensei has been beating us to the ground every sparring session. It also seemed that he was enjoying seeing us in pain. He is a complete sadist. Come on, it wasn't so bad, Itachi said, only to be at the receiving end of a deadpan stare from his friends. Itachi's sweat dropped. Maybe not. But he doing this to improve us, he said to them, unconvincingly. After a minute of eerie silence, they collectively let out a sigh. Naruto then decided to address them, hey guys, how about we meet at the barbecue tonight? It has been some time since we went there. About that, Ka-san had asked me invite the two of you over dinner tonight, Itachi said. Hearing him, the other two nodded their head, where Yugao collectively answered, we would love to, Itachi. Deciding to meet later, the three of them separated to go their respective homes before dinner. Naruto slowly made his way towards the Sarutobi mansion. I'm home, he called out before entering through the door. As went inside the living room, he noticed Yuki sitting there with a wool yarn in her hand. She had a slight bulge over her stomach, showing her status as a pregnant woman. Yes, she was 6 months pregnant now. It was quite a surprise for the entire Sarutobi family. They had a new reason to celebrate after the whole Kyuubi debacle. Welcome home, Naruto-kun. How was your day? She asked him in a motherly fashion. She may have been pregnant with her own son, but Naruto meant just as much to her as the baby in her womb. As you can see from the condition of the clothes, Sensei went on to beat us to the ground. He is one sadistic man, he grumbled. Yuki let out a giggle at his situation. It was surprise even to the family when her father-in-law took on a team. She knew that he was going to work them into the ground. But what she didn't like was to send his team on dangerous missions outside the village. She might not be Naruto's biological mother, but she loved him like her own son. She had right to worry. No. Would like me to cook you something? She asked. Shaking his head, Naruto replied, no, Yuki-ka-san, I am not hungry. Plus, I wouldn't be here for dinner since Makoto Oba-san asked me to come over dinner, he informed her. Nodding her head, She went said, "Very well then, go get freshen up, you need to leave for the Uchiha mansion, right?" Nodding his head, Naruto left to take a shower before leaving for the Uchihas. The dinner went pretty normal, as the three of them were asked questions about their training. Shisui was also present for the dinner. He and Naruto kept on joking with each other. Shisui, to Naruto, has become one of his best friends. Makoto kept on gushing over the three genin. She loved Naruto like her own son and Yugao was like a daughter. She also knew that the both of them had feelings for each other, and was planning on getting them together in the future. After the dinner, each of them headed to their respective homes. Next day, Training Ground 7, Hiruzen Sarutobi was standing in front of his genins. He looked at each of them before addressing them. "Today we are going to learn a new technique," saying that he went to some hand seals and smashed his hand on the ground. In a puff of smoke, a giant money appeared beside Hiruzen. He looked towards his student and said, "This is summoning jutsu and this is my summon. Everyone meet the Monkey King Enma." Of the monkey summons, Naruto and Yugao were looking at Enma with clear awe, whereas Itachi was calm, but you could see fascination in his eyes. "So, these are your new students, Hiruzen. They look good, teach them right this time, will you?" said the Monkey King. Hiruzen narrowed his eyes a little at the jab from Enma and said, "I will, old friend, this time I will this right. I believe in them that they do my teachings proud." "Very well, we will see that in the future. Make them your legacy, Hiruzen. Your previous students should not be your legacy, they were a disappointment to me. They may have been good shinobis, but they were far from being good humans and role models. Anyways, see you later," huffed Enma. He then disappeared in a puff of smoke to return to his home. "Wow, sensei. That was so cool. Can we do that as well?" exclaimed Naruto. Yugao was also looking towards the old Hokage with clear excitement. Itachi was calm for some reason Hiruzen didn't know. "Of course, Naruto-kun, this will be the technique you would learn today. Though it is a technique not taught to many, I believe that you three should possess a summoning contract," replied Hiruzen. "Now since you don't have any contracts from the beginning, you will be reverse summoned to the realm of the summons that suits you the best. Any questions?" he asked. Sensei, will we return if we fail to get the contract?" asked a nervous Yugao. Hearing her question, Naruto also became a little nervous. He didn't want to be stuck in some other realm all on his own. Hiruzen laughed at this. "No, my dear students, you won't be stuck there. You will return even if you fail to get the contract. Now follow these seals and you will be reverse summoned to your suitable summons." Hiruzen went on to show them the signs. He noticed that Itachi was not following. He asked, "Itachi, why aren't you doing these signs? Don't you want to do summoning?" "It's not that, sensei. It's just that I already have a summoning contract of the ravens and crows. So I don't need to do this," Itachi answered calmly. Hearing that their teammate already has a summoning contract made them even more determined to get them a summoning contract. Finishing with their hand seals, they disappeared in a puff of smoke. "Now all we do is wait and hope that they can get a summoning contract," said Hiruzen, to which Itachi nodded. With Naruto. Naruto appeared in a mountainous area covered in lush green forests. He looked around and saw nothing but dense jungles all around him. He started walking towards the direction of the jungle, when he heard a faint rustling in the bushes. He snapped his head in that direction and called out, "Who's there? Come out now." "So it seems a ninja has appeared here after a long time," replied a mysterious voice coming from the bushes. "Come out and show yourself," Naruto replied. He tried to remain as calm as possible in this unknown territory. The bushes rustled and a white wolf came out. He was quite big, easily more than 4 or 5 meters in length. Its height was bigger than Jiraiya's, who was the tallest person Naruto has seen up till date. He then thought, addressing the issue, "Look, I am not here for any trouble. I just got reverse summoned here when I was doing the summoning jutsu," Naruto stated calmly. "Oh, and pray tell, what makes you think that you are worthy to be our summoner?" asked the giant wolf. "Nothing. I don't think I am worthy in any way. All I can do is ask you take me to your leader, who will test me. I will try to pass the test and become worthy of summoning you, Naruto resolutely stated. You are different from the others I have seen. I will take you to our esteemed elders and let them test you to see if you are worthy or not. Come and hop on my back and I will take you to our elders, the wolf stated. Nodding his head, Naruto hopped on his back and they started moving towards their destination. Naruto decided to introduce himself. By the way, my name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. What's your name, Wolf-san? Now the wolf was really surprised. No other human had ever asked his name, they only came for power. He thought that Naruto might just be the one to finally get the summoning contract. He decided to reply to this unique ninja. It's Ryo of the Dire Wolf clan of the Claw Mountains. They continued their journey towards their destination where Naruto will be judged. What Naruto didn't know was that Yugao was also going through the same thing with her own summons. They finally reached a place. It was beautiful valley midst the mountains. A waterfall was flowing down the mountains and traversing the valley has clean stream of water. The mountain overlooking the valley had a huge claw print over it. Overall the place was quite beautiful. Welcome to the Claw Mountain, Ryo said with hint of pride in his voice. He led Naruto into a big cave. It had a huge half-oval opening. Naruto was escorted into the cave. After walking for about a minute or two he came into a clearing. It was surrounded by mountains on all sides. There were 5 huge dire wolves resting in the clearing, each of them were of the size of Gamabunta. Also, 2 small pups were there playing with each other. As Naruto went and stood in front of them, all the 5 great wolves opened their eyes in unison. The small pups were also had their eyes fixed on him. Their stare seemed to look directly into his soul. It seems we have a new summoner candidate after a long time. Tell me your name, little ninja, one of the huge wolves asked. My name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. I have come here to become your summoner. If you would allow me, Wolf-sama, Naruto politely replied to the wolves. Before the big wolves could give a reply to Naruto's statement, Naruto felt 2 small paws on his legs. Looking down he noticed one of the wolf pups that was playing had approached him and put his paw on his thighs. Will you bring us a lot of sweets if you become our summoner? The little wolf pup asked in a childlike tone. Naruto was surprised at first, but then smiled and nodded his head at the pup. The pup yelped and said, well then from today you are our new summoner. The other pup said in a childlike sing-song voice. Thank you for accepting me as your summoner, esteemed elder, said Naruto as he bowed his head to the small pups. And what makes you think that we are the elders and not them? Asked one of the 2 pups in an innocent voice. Because you leaking some of your powers purposefully, most probably giving a hint to the candidates. That power is denser than these huge wolves. That led me to believe that you are the elder wolves, stated Naruto with confidence. As soon as he finished, the 2 small pups changed into their older forms. They were of the same size of Ryo. But their old features were prominent. First, one of them who had a scar running down over his right eye stepped forward and said, what gave us away? I know that the leaking of power cannot be the only thing. We were doing our part of acting perfectly. It was this setting that gave up. But, I only got to the fact that you are the elders at the very last. When I entered the clearing, the first thing that came to my mind is, what are these pups doing here? They could be seriously hurt with the big ones here. So I came to conclusion that these pups had to be special. But I didn't know at that time. I was again surprised when you interrupted our conversation and the big wolf didn't reprimand you or anything. That got me thinking that something was wrong. So, when I spread my senses I came to sense your power. That confirmed my theory that you were the elders, said Naruto. Excellent. Truly excellent. Plus, we were inspecting you through your eyes. After all, eyes are the door to the souls. You have no intention to use this power for personal gains. Your soul is a pure soul that is hard to come by, so Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze welcomed to the pact as our new summoner, saying that all the wolves started howling. Naruto was beyond happy that he succeeded. The elder wolf continued, now it's time for introduction it seems. My name is Leo, the great elder, and the other elder is my mate, her name is Claire. Claire came forward and gave Naruto a lick on the cheek and said, "It's nice to meet you, Naruto-chan. You are such a cute ninja." She chirped happily. Leo laughed at his mate's antics and Naruto was embarrassed. Leo produced a scroll in front of Naruto and said, "Sign there with your blood and you will be officially our new summoner." Nodding his head, Naruto bit his thumb and drew his blood. He then signed on the scroll, confirming himself to be the new summoner of the Dire Wolf clan of the Claw Mountain. Leo folded the scroll and put it away. Leo then addressed Naruto. "Naruto, I want to have one of us as your partner all the time. He will be both your personal summon and partner." Naruto was excited to have a wolf as a partner. Leo nodded and signaled one of the other wolves to bring him in. A small pup came in and went on to stand beside Claire. "Naruto, this is Ace, my grandson. He can perform wind and water jutsus. We predominantly only can do wind techniques. But for some reason Ace can perform both wind and water techniques. I hope you will take good care of him. You can count on me, Leo-sama," said Naruto. He then went and stood in front of Ace and said, "Hey there. My name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. I hope we can be friends and the best of partners." Ace came up, barked and said, "Sure, Naruto. Let's be partners and friends." Seeing the duo, the other wolves smiled. Claire said, "Naruto-chan, it's time for you to return to your own realm. Your family and friends might get worried. Ace-kun, be good boy and take care, okay?" Nodding their heads, both Naruto and Ace disappeared in a puff of smoke. "That boy is going to do a lot of great things," said Claire. "Yes, dear. Naruto has been made for greatness. I have never seen a soul that pure in a long time. Things are going to be interesting in the future." In Konoha, at Training Ground 7, it had been about an hour and a half since Naruto and Yugao have left to get their own summoning contracts in the summon realm. Hiruzen was now getting worried for his students. Itachi was able to pick up on his sensei's worries as he too was worried for his friends. "It seems that they haven't returned yet, Sandame-sama. It's been an hour and a half now that they are gone," said Shisui, who had come just after Naruto and Yugao had left. He had been waiting there for them to return. He wanted to know what types of summoning did both of them received. "I know, Shisui-kun, I know. I am myself getting a little worried about them," said Hiruzen, worry clear in his voice. Just then, in a puff of smoke, both Naruto and Yugao appeared in the training ground. Seeing them, a wave of relief washed over the three individuals. Yugao had a small scroll on her hand with the mark of tiger over it. On the other hand, Naruto had been accompanied by a small white-colored wolf pup. It was easy to guess what he got for Hiruzen. "It seems that both of you have returned safely." Now seeing the scroll and Naruto's partner, it can be said that both of you got canon summons. "Now tell us what you got," said Hiruzen with slight interest. Shisui and Itachi were also looking towards them, eager to know. "I got the tiger and panther summons. I am also their second summoner. The elder tigress found me worthy and made me their summoner," Yugao said in a sing-song voice. Turning towards Naruto, she waited for him to continue. "I have gotten the most ferocious of the bunch. I got the dire wolves of the Claw Mountain. The elders judged me worthy and made me their summoner. Oh, this is my partner and personal summon, Ace. He is also the leader's son and wolf elder's grandson. Hello. My name is Ace. It's nice to meet you." Ace exclaimed excitedly. "Very good, both of you. Now it's also nice to meet you, Ace. My name Hiruzen Sarutobi, the Sabdime Hokage of Konohagakure no Sato," said the old Hokage. "My name Itachi Uchiha. It's nice to meet you, Ace-san," Itachi said. "My name is Shisui Uchiha. Let's have a lot of fun," Shisui stated with his goofy attitude. "My name Yugao Azuki. I am Naruto-kun's friend. It's nice to meet you, Ace," said Yugao. After the introductions were over, Hiruzen addressed them. "Well, it's been a long day. Let's call it a day. Now meet me at the barbecue to celebrate all of you getting new summons. Also invite your family, Itachi and Yugao. Let's head home, Naruto-kun," saying that they dispersed from the training ground. 2 months later. Konoha Mission Room. It's been 2 months since Naruto and Yugao have gotten their summons. That day in the barbecue when Naruto introduced Ace to Makoto and Yuki, they took an instant liking to him. Another thing that had happened for Naruto was that he got permission from his sensei to use the Nadime's personal library. Hiruzen at first became outraged at such a request, but after Naruto calmly reasoned with him that the Nadime has been dead for a long time, and those jutsus would be best put to use by learning them, not by just putting them on the shelf. After much deliberation, Hiruzen reluctantly gave Naruto permission to use the library. He also told him not to mention this to anyone. Naruto and Ace have also worked on a few low-level collaboration jutsu. With Naruto's fire and Ace's wind, they are able to do quite a lot of collaboration jutsu. Ace had grown bigger in these last 2 months, nearing the size of an average normal wolf. He and Naruto have become great friends, also the duo have become quite famous in Konoha. At present, the entire Team 7 along with Ace was present in the Konoha Mission Room. They are here to take a new mission, probably another C rank or higher. Naruto, Itachi and Yugao are enough skilled that they can take on small bandits easily, even barely any Chunin could defeat them. There were talks of promoting Naruto's group to Chunin, since the recent Chunin exams have been cancelled. Team 7, you are going to be given your first B-ranked mission. Though it's an escort mission, there are chances of missing nins appearing. Nothing you four can't handle. Shisui will be leading you in this mission. You will be leaving in 2 hours, pack your stuffs for 2 to 3 weeks, said Shikaku. He had been giving out missions since they graduated, as the Hokage was busy with his students and other paperwork. What are the parameters of this mission, Shikaku-sama? Asked Shisui. He had been promoted to complete Jonin just recently. You will be taking Mina-sama, sea daimyo's granddaughter, back to Umi no Kuni, sea country. There are chances of some missing nin appearing to attack the caravan. She had asked for the Team 7 specifically, said Shikaku with a lazy tone. Why specifically? Asked Naruto calmly. He has calmed down considerably since he became a genin. In other cases he would be loud and excited to go on such a high-level mission. It seems that training with Hiruzen and a lot of reading had calmed him down considerably. She wants to be escorted by the famous team that Sandaime-sama has been training. She might have heard about you all from the villagers, as the news of this team isn't known very much outside Hai no Kuni, said Shikaku. Where will we find her? Asked Itachi. She will be at the gates in about 2 hours. You will be meeting her there and start your journey, replied Shikaku. Shisui then addressed them, okay. We have 2 hours to prepare for this, let's hurry up. Take everything you need for 3 weeks trip and say your goodbyes loved ones for the final time, he finished. You are saying as if we are not going to return, deadpanned Yugao. Naruto and Itachi sporting the same look supported her silently. Shisui laughs loudly. After calming down he said, oh, I was just joking. Geez. They left after that to prepare for their first B-ranked mission. After 2 hours. Konoha main gate. After 2 hours Team 7 assembled at front of the main gate. Makoto and Hiruzen were there to tell them goodbyes. It was relatively easy for Yugao to break the news to her family, compared to Itachi and Naruto. Yuki wouldn't leave Naruto as she clung onto him. She was crying thinking that the mission was too dangerous for her Naruto. It took Asuma and her husband Itama to calm her down. The hormones were rampaging due to her pregnancy. She also promised to not serve her father-in-law any dinner for sending Naruto away. Be alert all the times. Look out for each other and return safely back, Hiruzen stated to them. The 3 genins nodded their heads at their sensei's advice. Shisui promised to look after them on his behalf, to which Hiruzen nodded his head in thanks. Makoto came up and hugged each of them and wished them for a safe journey. As they were saying their goodbyes, the carriage reached the main gate. Mina came out of her carriage to greet them. She was 15-year beautiful woman. She was wearing a blue-color traditional yukata. She had a paper fan on her right hand with See Princess, written on it. It's good see you Hokage-sama, she said politely. Hiruzen returned her greeting, it's good to see you too Mina-san. My students here will be escorting you to Umi no Kuni. I hope they can live up to the name of their fame here in Hai no Kuni, she said pointedly. They are quite capable to handle any situation, don't worry nothing bad shall befall you in their presence, Hiruzen stated confidently. Nodding her head and thanking him she again entered her carriage for the journey. Let's move out, stated Shisui. The group slowly made their way through the forest towards Umi no Kuni. 2 weeks later, a day away from the capital city, at night. The journey has been quite calm up to this point. The only disturbance they faced was when they ran into some bandits on the borders few days ago. They were moving with civilian speed since the princess was not accustomed to the speeds of the shinobis. It was night time and Naruto was sitting near the campfire. It was his shift for guard duty. He was reading on of his Fuinjutsu books. He then noticed the hourglass and saw that his shift has ended. He went to the boys' tent to wake up Shisui for his guard duty. Yugao was sleeping with the princess. She was kind lady and asked Yugao to sleep with her since she wouldn't allow her sleep among boys. When Shisui said that it would be no problem for them, he was rather embarrassingly cut off by the princess. As Naruto entered the tent, he saw all the guards, Itachi and Shisui were soundly asleep. He went to Shisui and shook him. Hey Shisui, wake up. It's your shift now at the guard duty, whispered Naruto. Shisui woke up groggily and sat up to see Naruto standing there. He quickly shook off his sleep like a shinobi and stood up. As one was preparing to leave and the other was going to bed, they heard rustling sound coming from the woods. Both of them became alert. Looking towards each other they nodded and slowly made their way outside. They looked at the surrounding, seeing them nothing Shisui whispered to Naruto. Naruto tried to sense the surrounding and see if anyone is present or not, while I go and check the princess, saying that Shisui went to look at the princess's tent. Naruto closed his eyes and reached out his senses to the surrounding. What he found was not good. He could clearly about 50 chakras. Maximum were of Chunin level, with few being Jonin level and only one being elite Jonin level. He quickly opened his eyes and whistled. From the tent Ace came and stood beside him. He whispered to Ace to go and wake up Itachi and others and tell them to get ready. Ace nodded and left. Shisui came back, panic clearly painted over his face. He shouted, the princess and Yugao are gone. There were few dead bodies around, probably Yugao's doing, but they have been captured. Hearing that Yugao was captured, Naruto became enraged but quickly reined down his emotions. Now was not the time. He said, there are about 50 shinobi surrounding us, with one of them having elite Jonin level chakra reserves. Hearing this, Shisui understood that the enemies knew of them being here tonight. Something was wrong here. By this time Itachi, Ace and the guards have joined them. Before they could say anything, a huge amount kunai and shuriken were thrown at them. All of them dodged and got separated. With Naruto and Shisui. Naruto and Shisui landed a little further from the camp. They were quickly surrounded by the enemy ninjas. They could see some of them were sea shinobi and the other were Kumo shinobi. Cursing their luck, they prepared to face them. Naruto quickly took out his staff from his storage seal on his wrist and engaged the Kumo shinobis in battle. He quickly made 3 cage bunshin to even the numbers a little. The Kumo shinobis used their lightning attack, which Naruto blocked with his sand. He then said, Jitten, Coablt sand spears. And spears of sand went towards them, impaling and killing them in an instant. But, before Naruto could react, earth boulder sent him flying. Landing in the mud, he quickly stood up and went to see the remaining shinobi were preparing another lightning attack. He quickly went through seals and said, light element seal. And the lightning attacks were absorbed by the elemental seal. Naruto then said, Jitten, sand coffin. A huge sand block descended on the enemies and buried them dead. He quickly went towards Shisui, only to see that he had dealt with his part. When they both were going to help their comrades, 4 Kumo Jonins were standing before them. You are not going anywhere, Konoha Shinobis. You are to die here. Saying that, they pounced on them. Naruto extended his staff and hit one of them in the stomach, sending him towards the tree, crashing. He then blocked a strike from the other Jonin. He, with the support of his staff, delivered a roundabout kick on his chin, sending him stumbling down. Lightning release. Lightning bolt. Naruto heard and saw a bolt of lightning traveling towards him from the previous shinobi. He quickly put up a sand barrier to block it and said, "Jiden, Cobalt Crush." A huge amount silver sand crushed the shinobi to death. Naruto turned only to be sent tumbling after being hit by the other Kumo nin. The enemy nin pounced on Naruto and plunged his kunai in Naruto's chest. He thought that he won, only to be surprised when Naruto popped in a puff of smoke. Cage Bunshins. He thought, panicked. He looked around only to hear a cold and deadly whisper from behind him, "It's over," and darkness swallowed him. Naruto had finished him by plunging a kunai in his throat. Shisui was faring much easier against his opponents. He had placed one of them in genjutsu, while the other was providing some fight, but he was no match against Shisui's Shunshin. He quickly created nearly 10 afterimages, which confused the Kumo nin. Capitalizing on the slip-up of the Kumo Jonin, Shisui quickly sliced his throat, killing him. He spared the other Jonin to use him gain some intel. With Itachi and Ace, a few minutes ago. Itachi and Ace have been separated from Shisui and Naruto, they have taken care of the sea nins. Itachi was thinking when his guts told him to dodge. He quickly jumped back, as a lightning bolt hit the spot where he was previously standing. Ace came and stood beside him. 2 Kumo Jonin and 3 Kumo Chunin came and stood front of them. "Look here, guys, there's another kid just like girl we captured. Though she would make quite the slave, we need to finish him," said one of them, others laughing at his statement. Itachi, hearing their intentions regarding Yugao, coldly states, "You are lucky that you are saying those words to me. Even though I will finish you here, my friend Naruto would have absolutely destroyed you for saying that regarding her." Ace also growls and says, "You poisonous bastards, I will kill you for threatening my partner's mate. Oh, look, the kid and the puppy have some bite, is it? Let's finish them, boys," the apparent leader exclaimed cockily. Itachi just activates his Sharingan, the blood-red eyes glowing in the night. He prepares some hand seals and looks towards his Ace, "Mind giving a hand?" "Sure," says Ace, and he inflates his chest. Itachi calls out, "Fire style. Phoenix Fire Jutsu," a torrent of flames covers the forest. Ace adds his bit, "Wind style. Great breakthrough." And gusts of wind mix with the fire jutsu and increase his size and power. The flower quickly engulfs them. When it subsided, only 2 Jonin were remaining. Itachi took out his bokken and dashed towards them and sliced at them, killing one as the other dodged the strike, only to be attacked by Ace. Ace had his neck in his jaw before he snarls and said, "Never threaten my partner's mate." And he broke his neck. "Well, so you Naruto and Yugao have feelings for each other?" Itachi asks Ace, who shrugs and replies, "One has to be blind not to notice it. Though I don't know either of them are going to confess." Itachi just shakes his head at his reply. "Let's head back towards the camp," he stated calmly. After reaching the camp, they saw Naruto standing outside the tents and sounds of screaming coming from inside. The guards standing there with sheepish expression, though they were one less. They approached Naruto and were going to ask him what's going on when Shisui came out of the tent. The daimyo's brother had done a coup and usurped the throne with the help of a Kumo nin group. It seems the Raikage is not aware of this from the memories of this Jonin. They have captured the princess and most probably. Though it seems majority of the sea ninjas are loyal to original daimyo. They only surrendered because the daimyo's life was in danger. Yugao might be probably with them. They were planning to most probably get Konoha's roots and defenses, Shisui stated grimly. They soon feel a chill running down their spine due to Naruto's killing intent. Itachi puts his hand on his shoulder to calm him down. Ace also nudges him to calm him down. Naruto sighs, What do we do? He asks. No one said anything as they don't know the answer to the question. Shisui states, we should contact Konoha and wait for reinforcements. There's nothing coming to my mind. Naruto thinks for some time before he answers, I have a plan, though it's a bit risky. If we succeed, then not only free the daimyo but also save Yugao. He then goes on to tell his plan. Shisui is impressed with Naruto's plan and acknowledges that it is risky. He says, we will go with this plan, it may just work. After some time, outside the capital's main gate, the gate guards that were stationed were watching over the road, when they caught a glimpse of a few Kumo shinobis. When they approached the gate, they saw they had prisoners. Halt! Where did you get them? One of the guards asked on of the Kumo nin. We captured them when we captured the princess. One of them, a blonde kid, and his pup died. Though we got Shunshin no Shisui, and the heir of the Uchiha clan. We will be putting them with the other girl they captured. Where is she, by the way? The Kumo nin asked. Oh, that is indeed good. She has been kept in the dungeons for now. Put them there. You have captured some good catches, buddy, the guard states. The Kumo nins nodded and went for the dungeons. I don't believe that it is working, whispers Itachi. It's crazy enough to actually work, replies Shisui in a low voice. Hey, I said it would work. My henge is special. It's actual shapeshift, so it is impossible to distinguish. Now remember, you are to free Yugao and the army. I'll save the daimyo and the princess. Attack the castle after that. Their numbers are less compared to them. Ace would be coming with me, said Naruto, who alongside with Ace has been hanged into the Kumo Jonin they killed previously. They made it into the dungeons and placing them in Yugao's cell. Yugao was first elated to see them but quickly becomes disheartened seeing their cuffs. After the closing the door of the cell behind him, Naruto, who still hanged, made his way towards Yugao and hugs her. Yugao was afraid of this until Naruto tells her that it's him. Hearing his voice, tears comes to Yugao's eyes. After relaying his plan, he quickly made his way out. The others soon freed themselves of the cuffs with the key Naruto provided them. They killed any shinobi present in the dungeon and freed the captured guards. Once free, they relay their plan to the soldiers, who are impressed with the plan that a 10-year-old came out with. They then wait for Naruto's signal in the form of Daimyo's announcement. With Naruto and Ace made their way into the castle where the daimyo and his family are captured. He first went to the princess's room. Moving stealthily, he reaches her room's door. There he sees that 2 guards are waiting. He whistles lowly to catch their attention. When one of them, Naruto, moved towards the other guard. As the previous guard nears the location of the whistle, when Ace pounced on him and dragged him into the shadows, killing him there. Naruto by the time caught the second guard and sliced his neck, killing him. He then slowly enters the room only to dodge the knives thrown at him. Go away or I will kill you, says the princess. Naruto placates her. Princess, it's me, Naruto. Calm down, I am here to save you. The princess hugs him in relief. The last line was like from a movie. Damn, it seems like I am in a princess saving scene in a film. It was one of those lines the hero uses. No. Great, I am becoming a part of fantasies now. Naruto thought. Now listen, we are going to free the daimyo, you grandfather, and then take this country and town back, Naruto said. The princess nodded and led him through the castle towards her grandfather's room. When they reach, they see that it also has same guards like her room had. Naruto kills the guard easily and enters the room with the princess. The daimyo gets shocked on seeing them. He then asks Naruto his identity. My name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, daimyo-sama. Let's not waste time and first escape and enact the plan, said Naruto as he went on to tell his plan. They quickly agreed and went to free their country. Naruto signals Ace to do the next part. Ace nods and went on the perch top and howl. He howls to alert the army and rest of Team 7. They went on to the balcony where Daimyo with an enhanced voice announced, People of Umi no Kuni, my younger brother Ikasa usurped the throne and captured me and my army. He also captured our princess, using her for some loathsome purposes. I implore you to take up arms against the traitors and let's win back our freedom. The people came out their houses to listen the announcement, and after hearing what their daimyo said, they took up arms against the traitors. Ikaso was watching this and ordered his part army, "What are you looking? Kill them all." But before his army could do anything, the loyal army came out of the dungeons and surrounded them from all sides. Ikaso cursed vehemently about his luck when Naruto, daimyo and the princess gathered around them. Shisui, Itachi and Yugo joined them as well. Naruto then said, "Well, what are you waiting for? Finish them off." As if on his call, the entire loyal army and the gathered crowd jumped on the traitors. What followed was a massacre. "It's over," calmly responds the daimyo. 3 weeks later, in Konoha, Hokage office, after resting in Umi no Kuni for a week, they started their journey back home. After the incident, both Naruto and Yugao were near inseparable. They were treated as heroes in Umi no Kuni, with Naruto getting an honorary citizenship of the country. Also, Shisui, Itachi and Yugao were given variety of gifts for their contributions. Umi no Kuni also agreed to ally themselves with Konoha. Yugao and the princess became quite good friends, with promise to exchange letters after Yugao returns to Konoha. So, after 2 days' journey back to Konoha, they were greeted by a large group waiting for them. All 4 of them got in trouble with their guardians and mothers. Yuki and Makoto had been extra pissed at them. Hiruzen didn't know what to feel at this moment. On one side, his students did something amazing by freeing a country and gaining an ally. And on the other hand, they took quite a lot of risks. So he did both. He congratulated them and punished them. It was then decided that the 3 of them would be given Chunin rank, since there will be no exam this time around. That was big news as they became the current batch of rookies to be promoted. Shisui was invited to join the Anbu by Cheetah. It was to receive their Chunin vests. Were they present in the Hokage office at this moment? Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, Itachi Uchiha and Yugao Azuki, you 3 have shown exemplary skills on the field and have achieved success in all the missions you have taken. It is for this reason that, I Hiruzen Sarutobi, Sandaime Hokage of Konoha, grant you the position of Chunin. Wear the vests with pride, he said in a tone full of pride and mirth. The 3 new Chunins stepped up and received their vests. They were then congratulated by their others and the advisors of the Hokage, except Danzo. It was here a dog-masked Anbu stepped up and said, "Hokage-sama, I wish for Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze to join Anbu Team RO. We have 1 slot empty, I believe he would be good choice." Others, including Naruto, were stunned at this request. Naruto knew that he could learn a lot from this, but he will have to talk about this with his sensei first. Hiruzen calmly states, "We will discuss about this request later." Now everyone except Naruto dismissed. Everyone except Naruto fill out the room. Naruto then looks up to his sensei and asks, "What do you need, sensei?" Hiruzen chuckles, "You can call me Gigi now, Naruto, and for what I asked you to stay was," he takes a small book and tossed it to Naruto. "Page 3 inches," he said. Naruto turns to page 3 to look, only to be surprised by seeing the picture. It's been 6 months since the mission in Umi no Kuni. That mission had made waves for the new Team 7. Naruto, Itachi and Yugao have become well known all across the nations, especially Naruto and Itachi with their entry in the bingo books. Itachi had earned his name in the bingo book just a month prior, when he went on his Chunin mission, where he faced some Kiri missing nins. He had earned the epitaph, Genso no Itachi, Itachi of the Illusion, due to his prowess in Genjutsu. He has earned a high C-class status in the bingo book. So, with their entry in the bingo book, they became the center of attention of the entire shinobi population. There are reports that the other nations are also keeping a close eye on them. But they haven't let this get to their heads and still kept training hard. Yugao had upped her training since the mission. She had understood that she was still weak and needed to get stronger. She had made tremendous progress in ninjutsu and kenjutsu. Taijutsu is also a portion where she has improved a lot. She can proudly state that she is now at high Chunin level. Another thing that happened is that both she and Naruto have grown closer to each other. But to her annoyance, the blonde seems not to notice her feelings, which was clear for many other in the village. The Sandame, Hiruzen Sarutobi, was sitting in his office doing paperwork. He was pleased with the progress of his students. Naruto had started taking classes on politics, economics and other such topics. Itachi also needed to learn those subjects as clan head. He was very happy with this development. No one knew, but he was actually hoping for one of these two would become the next Hokage. He had only one choice for his successor, that being Tsunade at this moment. Even though she was on a self-imposed exile, he still hoped she would return. Although he is disappointed on her, he still hopes for her at least return and help the village again. Regarding clans, the Uchihas have become restless for some reasons. It was not a good sign. He needed to look into the matter. He rubbed his temples in annoyance. His thought then drifted to his last, loyal, Sannin, though the loyalty was in question now. It has been nearly 5 years since Jiraiya had last stepped in the village, and another 2 years since he had updated Hiruzen on any threats, not saying that there have been any attacks. He exhaled a disappointed sigh. He thought, it's been 5 years since Jiraiya has left the village and not returned. The elders are asking for his whereabouts and are becoming suspicious. Even the Shinobi Council are thinking that he is taking the job far easily. I don't know what to think. Sigh, I am too old for this shit. He was brought out of his musings when someone just slipped into his office. He knew who he was and waved his hand to signal his Anbu guard to leave them in private. After the Anbu left the room, he called out. What do you want, Cheetah? Asked the Sandame. You have been declining the topic for last 6 months, Hokage-sama, stated the now identified Anbu commander. The topic in question was one Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze's entry into the Anbu. Cheetah and Anbu team Rose Captain Inu had already requested for him, but both of them have yet to sit with their Hokage who had been avoiding this topic for the last 6 months. Hiruzen sighs, I will not allow Naruto-kun to be in the Anbu now, Cheetah, he stated. Why, Hokage-sama? He has all the skill set required for the job. You as well as I know that he will possibly reach his utmost limit of his potential only in Anbu, said Cheetah. I know that, but he is still too young to be in the ANBU. He is still too young to see the dark side of the world. He is only a 10-year-old child, said Hiruzen, not budging from his point. The same 10-year-old as you say, had taken on Junko Kasama, a B-ranked Iowa shinobi. Not only that, he also has a B-ranked bingo book status himself, Hiruzen. I don't know another child with the same contract. Face it, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze is special, thus requires special setups to reach his full potential, stated Cheetah. What he didn't say is that if Naruto joined Anbu, he had every intention to make him captain level within 3 years. He is a prodigy that comes once in many generations and he wanted to use his potential to the fullest. Regardless, Naruto-kun won't join the Anbu, not now at least. I know he is special, but all I want is for him to enjoy his childhood a little more, stated Hiruzen. He wanted his own surrogate grandson to at least be a child for a while longer. Look, Hiruzen, said Cheetah, dropping all formalities, Konoha is being watched by all villages at this moment. Naruto is the promise of the new generation. He is a sapling waiting to claim his rightful place in the great forest. He is needed to improve, not only him but his other teammates as well are needed to improve themselves. They are also in my radar, but they need to be a little more ready than what they are now. Also, Naruto will bring a new wind to the Anbu, I believe in it, said the Anbu commander passionately. Hiruzen was shocked from hearing his Anbu commander talking with such passion in his voice. His will broke a little, but he still didn't relent completely. He looked towards his commander and said, very well, I will let him join the Anbu only if he completes the course set for testing potential recruits, he stated firmly. Good. I have faith he would pass, said Cheetah. Another thing, I will still be Naruto-kun sensei. You can't take the position away from me. Hiruzen said. The Anbu commander's sweat dropped at the comment. What was he thinking? Did he think that I will not let him teach Naruto? Seriously, thought the commander. Yes, I will not prohibit you from teaching him. He further sweats when he sees his Hokage beam at his answer. He shook his head and left the office to inform Inu of his new recruit. Next day, Training Ground 7, Naruto and Itachi were having their monthly spar. Both of them were having a ninjutsu spar for this month. Fire style. Great fireball jutsu. Yelled Itachi as giant fireball erupted from his mouth and sped towards Naruto. Naruto, seeing the fireball coming towards him, quickly went through hand seals and said, "Water style, water encampment wall." And a wall rose before him, stopping the fireball. The ground was quickly covered in mist when the fireball clashed with the water wall. Naruto again said, "Wind style, great breakthrough," and a gust of wind removed the mist. Looking towards Itachi, who hadn't moved, he quickly flashed through hand seals and said, "Earth style, earth spikes." Earth spikes flew towards Itachi at a very high speed. Fire style, phoenix fire jutsu. Yelled Itachi as a phoenix made of fire clashed with the spikes, burning them down. Seeing that his technique being cancelled by Itachi, he created a shadow clone and went through hand seals, fire style, dragon fire breath. Wind style, wind breakthrough. The jutsus combined and a huge white flame raced towards Itachi. Seeing no escape, Itachi went through one of his copied jutsus, water style, water wall. But the water wall was no match for Naruto's fire technique, and Itachi had to flee from its trajectory to save himself. "Alright, it's enough," said the commanding voice of the Sandaime Hokage. He looked towards his two students with pride in his eyes. "Impressive, both of you. You two have improved your mastery over your elements. Naruto-kun, your control over water type is now on par with the rest of your affinities. Itachi, your prowess over fire affinity can only be compared to very few shinobi in the village, although it's true for Naruto-kun as well." He then turned towards Yugao and said, "Yugao-chan, you also have improved a lot. I would say in the last 6 months you have eclipsed their improvement with yours. Your mastery over water style is damn impressive. Your kenjutsu has also improved at a frightening rate. I am sure you will be one of the deadliest kunoichi Konoha will ever produce," he said, pride in his voice. "Now there is something that you all need to know. Naruto might leave Team 7 in the near future, but what I want to tell is that this team would not be dissolved until you three become Jonin," said the old Hokage. "Anyo, sensei, where would Naruto-kun go?" asked Yugao. She didn't like the thought of her crush leaving the team. Itachi was also sad hearing that. He didn't want his best friend leaving the team just yet. Naruto-kun here has been selected to take the Anbu recruit test next month. If qualified, he would be joining the Anbu. Anbu Commander Cheetah and RO Captain Inu has specifically requested for Naruto-kun, said Hiruzen a little sadly. He didn't want this team to break up just yet. The three Chunin were surprised hearing that Naruto was chosen for Anbu. They knew that Shisui was recently chosen for Anbu as well, and now another among their group were going to join the Anbu. Naruto had mixed emotions regarding the thing. On one hand he was truly happy and excited, and on the other hand he was sad of leaving the team where his best friend and crush is. Though he mentally prepared himself for hard training for the upcoming month. "Wow. Congrats, Naruto-kun. You are going to be an Anbu," squealed Yugao. She was still happy for her crush for what he achieved. "Yes, Naruto, you would probably be the youngest Anbu in Konoha's history. I am happy for you, my friend," said Itachi, genuinely happy for his best friend. Hearing them, Naruto tears up a little and muttered a heartfelt, "Thank you." Seeing this scene, Hiruzen couldn't help but smile. It seems that they were closer than he had thought earlier. He was proud to see that his students supported each other's decision. All he hoped that Naruto would be okay in the ANBU. 1 month later, on the day of the exam, Anbu headquarters, Hiruzen Sarutobi was sitting on the stage of the Anbu headquarters, where the recruits would be going through the tests to determine who would finally be a part of the Anbu. Though these exams were not the only way to join the elite forces, but this was for testing other possible recruits who show promise. He was joined by two of the elders, who after knowing that Naruto would be taking part, wanted to see their old friend's student's development firsthand. He then looked towards his left and sweated a little by seeing his daughter-in-law Yuki and Makoto Uchiha along with Ace, Itachi and Yugao were present. He sighed remembering the earful he got from both women on allowing Naruto to join the Anbu so early. He knew that both women just wanted Naruto to remain away from the dark side of the shinobi world. Some part of him also felt that he shouldn't expose Naruto to that darkness just yet. Naruto and the other possible recruits were in the field where they would be going through a course that would be testing them on all fronts. Soon someone shunsigned near them. Looking at them he could see three personas standing there. One of them his Anbu commander Cheetah, the other two were part of Team RO, Inu the captain and Bear the vice captain of the same team. He nodded towards them greeting them silently and received the same courtesy from them. Hokage-sama, we are ready for the start of the selection exams, stated Cheetah emotionlessly. Very well. Let's start then, shall we? Replied the Sandaime coolly. Nodding his head, Cheetah sent on of his subordinates to ground to start the exam. The others present in the room waited patiently to see what entailed in the exams. With Naruto. Naruto was a little nervous. He was going to take the exams that determined if he could join the elite forces or not. When he first told his Yukika-san, she exploded with rage. She went on to give him and his Gigi an earful and made him go without dinner. He sighed remembering the legendary anger of the Sarutobi matriarch. She didn't talk to him for 3 whole days after that day. Only when he shut himself up with her in a room to get things sorted out did she speak. She exploded on how Naruto was always careless and always worrying her. She ranted how he never thinks of what would she think if anything happened to him. After finishing her rant, she broke down. Naruto ran up to her and hugged her. He understood that day how much she loved him. He then promised her that he would take extra care of himself and return home safely after every mission. That did console the woman a little, but she was still worried over his mental health and safety. He was also remembered how Makoto reacted. She was almost the same as Yuki, only instead of talking he got a massive beatdown from her. Naruto found himself lucky to have 2 women in his life who loved him like their own son, when they didn't have to. He promised himself that he would work extra hard to protect them and the village from any danger. Naruto was brought out of his musings when a Anbu operative appeared in the ground. He stood in front of the possible 20 or so recruits and said, "All right, listen up. You all will be completing this course one at a time. This course would test you all on all the fronts, but mainly on stealth, ninjutsu and bukijutsu. Be aware that only those who would be completing the course under 5 minutes will be picked for the Anbu." He then took out a board containing the list of names and a stopwatch to measure the time. He looked towards the crowd and said, "As I call out your name you move on to complete the course. All right then, first Tanama Inuzuka," he said, and a guy, probably about 17 or something, stepped forward and started on the course. Naruto watched the course and noted down the points. The first part was going through the maze, without being noticed by the hidden cameras. Second part was to hit the flying targets with either kunai or shuriken. The last part was the ninjutsu portion, where you have to overpower on the persons present there with your own jutsu. Overall, it was tough to finish within 5 minutes. Naruto was confident he could pull it off. After another 5 rounds of recruits doing the course, Naruto heard, "Next. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze," called out the masked operative. Everyone's attention was now on the 10-year-old boy. Naruto went and stood in front of the start gate. "Ready." Naruto nodded. "Then go." And he dashed into the course. Naruto entered the first part of the course. He first quickly took note of the position of the hidden cameras. Successfully locating them, he made a beeline towards the other door. He made sure to choose the track that was blinded to the cameras. He efficiently passed the first test within a minute. Entering the next phase, he took out his shuriken and hit each of the target that were hovering in the air. He made sure that hit each on in the center. After finishing the target exercise, he noticed that he had only 3 minutes late to finish the most difficult stage. He entered the third phase and saw an Anbu operative waiting there for him. He quickly made a clone and went through some hand seals at a frightening speed. One of the clones said, "Fire style, Phoenix fire technique." And the other clone said, "Wind style, great breakthrough." The wind-enhanced fire phoenix soared through the sky towards the Anbu, who went through some hand seals and said, "Earth style, earth wall." The giant fire phoenix crashed into the earth wall and engulfed it. The Anbu who was behind the wall mentally cursed. The fire was so hot that it turned white and the wall wouldn't hold. He felt his skin starting to burn. He saw that his wall crumble. Seeing that, he quickly changed his position and soon the fire phoenix broke the wall and soared into the field, creating a large crater when it exploded. The Anbu was amazed by the strength of the technique, which could even overpower his earth wall. His primary affinity was earth, damn it. And it was quite a strong one at that. Naruto was ecstatic seeing that he passed the test. He quickly looked towards the watch and saw he finished it with about 30 seconds to spare. He was happy to be a part of the Anbu. The Anbu operative walked towards him and extended his hand for a handshake. "That was an amazing fire technique, Naruto-san," said the Anbu. Naruto accepted his hand and said, "It was nothing much, though sensei did say that I have a strong fire affinity." The Anbu nodded his head. "That's what I have also heard. It will be interesting to work with you, Naruto-san," he said. "Same here as well, Anbu-san," replied a happy but tired Naruto. Naruto then proceeded to leave the ground to go find some water. He felt tired after adrenaline left the system. He was walking towards the cafeteria to get some water. When he walked into an Anbu, he was wearing a crow mask. He stopped walking seeing Naruto there. Naruto felt that he knew this person. "What can I do for you, Crow-san?" asked Naruto. The Anbu snorted a laugh and said, "If you want to show politeness then call me Crow-senpai or Shisui-sama." Naruto widens his eyes understanding who exactly is behind the mask. He smiled and came back with a reply, "Only if you stop losing to me in Shogi Shisui." Hearing that the now identified Shisui twitched, he then decided to drop the topic and asked, "How was your exam?" "It was good. I qualified for the Anbu. I completed the course within 5 minutes, replied Naruto. Shisui nods his head, as expected from you, Naruto. I am looking forward to working with you. I hope you will watch my back, said as he extended his fist for Naruto to bump. Naruto responded by fist bumping him and said, "You bet, Shisui. I hope the same from you." "Sure. We will be a hell of a duo," said Shisui. Naruto then asked Shisui for the direction of the cafeteria so that he could get some water. Shisui showed the way and also accompanied him there. After having some water, both of them went towards the hall where the announcements were to be made about the recruits that have passed the test. By the time they reached the hall, the other participants have finished their exams. The examiner was preparing to declare the results of the exam. Naruto and Shisui noticed that Makoto and others were waiting for Naruto in the corner. They made their way towards them. Yugao was the first one to notice them. She said, "Naruto-kun. Where were you?" "Ah, sorry, I went to the cafeteria to have some water. There I met this guy and we talked a little. That's why I was a little late," Naruto explained. The others nodded in understanding. Makoto went forward and engulfed Naruto in a motherly hug. "I am so proud of you, Naruto-chan. You did brilliantly," she said in a proud tone. Naruto nodded happily, receiving such praise from her. Before anyone else could say anything, the Anbu commander came on the stage and said, "All those of you participated in the exam, remember this, whether you pass or fail, don't be disappointed. It's not that you cannot join Anbu ever again. Just prepare, be ready, we just might call you any day. Now for those of you who will pass, from now on you are all the shadows of the village. You are the shadows that protects the leaf. I hope you know this is not the job for the faint-hearted, so if you want you can take back your name, but if you don't remember other ninjas would be looking towards you for guidance as you all will be the elites of the village. The examiner handed the commander a paper containing the names who had passed. Looking it over, the Anbu commander spoke, now there are only 3 of them who have passed. They are Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, Inosuke Yamanaka and Takama Hotaru. You 3 would be meeting the Hokage after this. Others dismissed. He said with authority. The ones that didn't pass cleared the room. The 3 recruits who passed stayed behind. The Sandaime made his way towards the 3 candidates and said, congratulations you 3, you did well and now you are part of the Anbu of Konoha. You will be receiving masks from the Anbu office later. You will be placed in different teams. Naruto-kun, you would be a part of Team RO. Inosuke-san, you would be part of Team Beta. Hotaru-san, you would be a part of Team Gamma. Now I hope you would be taking your duties seriously. You would be going on missions that would be much more important to the village than the normal missions that are done by the normal shinobi roster. I wish you 3 all the best for the future, he said calmly. The 3 new Anbu members bowed their head in respect for their Hokage. Once Inosuke and Hotaru left, Hiruzen turned towards Naruto and said, you don't know how proud I am, Naruto-kun. Your ninjutsu have improved tremendously. Now just because you are in the Anbu does not mean I won't teach you anything. You still be taking joint training sessions with the team. You will always be a part of Team 7, Naruto-kun, he said in an affectionate tone. Naruto nodded his head. He was happy that he will still be able to train with Itachi and Yugao. He still wanted to continue train under Hiruzen. Ace, Itachi and Yugao came up and started congratulating him. Seeing Ace, another question popped in his head. He turned towards his Gigi and asked, Sensei, will I be able to take Ace on the Anbu missions along with me? Hiruzen nodded his head and said, yes Naruto-kun, you would be able to take him along with you. He is basically a partner in summon. You have to improve your fighting style when you are fighting with Ace. Sensei, wouldn't that make Naruto easily recognizable? Asked Itachi. Yes, Itachi, it will, but that is what we need. Even most of the time they would fail to grasp the obvious. Even if they learn, it will help in the end, because the enemy will know that Naruto has improved so much. They would be wary of Konoha preventing a lot of trouble, Hiruzen said sagely. It will also prevent other villages to try anything funny, chimed in the Anbu commander. He looked towards Naruto and congratulated him on a job well done. He knew Naruto would pass. This test was just to satiate the Hokage's curiosity. He then said to Naruto, be here tomorrow to get your mask and other equipment, saying that he teleported away. The group finally decided that it was time to head home and celebrate. Shisui also decided to join them. Yuki took it upon herself to cook something delicious and invited everyone for dinner in the Sarutobi mansion. They happily went to celebrate for the day. The next day Naruto again visited the Anbu headquarters. He went there to pick up his mask and equipment. He entered the building and noticed that Inosuke and Hotaru were waiting there, probably for the same reason as his. He greeted them and took a corner to lean and wait for someone to show up. He was here with Ace. The wolf placed himself beside Naruto, signifying that he was Naruto's partner. After a few minutes of waiting silently, an Anbu operative came and told them to follow them. Doing as told, they reached another room which was more like a storage room. There were a number of masks hanging on the wall, probably for new recruits like them. Choose any mask you like, but before choosing know that this mask is an extension of yourself. The animal mask should be such that he relates to you on an emotional and spiritual level, said the Anbu operative. Naruto and others divided and started looking for a mask that described them the best. Naruto was going through a lot of masks, until his eyes landed on the mask of wolf. Naruto slowly extended his hand and took the mask in his hand to examine it. It was wolf mask. Naruto felt that he could relate to this the most. He was like a wolf who was fiercely loyal to its pack, which in this case is Konoha. He would do anything to protect his precious ones, just like a wolf would protect anyone it holds dear. Naruto felt every aspect of the mask screamed his name. It would be an excellent choice partner, said Ace beside him. Deciding to go with it, Naruto took the wolf mask as his Anbu mask. He then returned to the Anbu that was present in the room with the other two, as they have also finally chosen their mask and were waiting for him. Seeing him finish, the Anbu said, "Now follow me to the commander's office. From there you would move to meet your team." They followed after the Anbu to the commander's office. One entered at a time. Hotaru went first, followed by Inosuke. Lastly, Naruto went inside the room. He was greeted by the sight of the Anbu commander Cheetah sitting there with arms folded. "What mask did you choose, Naruto?" he asked. "It was the wolf mask, commander," replied Naruto respectfully. "Why?" asked the commander. "I felt a link between the mask and myself, commander. When I thought about it, the mask is but an extension of ourselves and a wolf represented me the best," replied Naruto. Cheetah understood his reasoning. He hadn't been an Anbu commander for nothing for more than 15 years. He knew Naruto was special and he had every plan of making the most of his talent and potential. He didn't say it, but he wanted to make Naruto captain level within 2 to 3 years. "Very well. Now, as you know from yesterday that you would be a part of Team RO, your team members are waiting for you in room number 6, that is about 7 rooms on the left from my office. Go there and meet your new team members. Now on duty you will be called Wolf. You also need to visit the Anbu library and get yourself a book on the hand signals of the Anbu and learn all of them," stated the Anbu commander. Naruto nodded his head, thanking the commander. He went towards the exit of the office. After leaving the office, he made his way towards room number 6. After crossing about 7 rooms, he came across a room with the number plate 6. Deciding that it was his destination, he knocked on the door. "Come in," came a rather familiar voice. Naruto went inside the room. He was greeted by the sight of a silver-haired Anbu with a dog mask. Another brown-haired Anbu with a bear mask. Then there was Shisui with crow mask. They staring at him with a lot of ferocity, trying to intimidate him, but luckily Naruto has been accustomed to this, as it paled in comparison to his Oba-san and Yuki-ka-san. It even further pales in comparison to his mom Kushina Uzumaki when she was pissed. So, he decided to cut the flow of the situation. "If you trying to intimidate me, then I got to say you all are doing a poor job at that. I have faced much worse stares than that. This doesn't even make the top 5, said Naruto. Hearing him, the 3 men chuckled at themselves and removed their masks to show their new comrade their faces. Naruto was accustomed to Kakashi and Shisui, but he didn't know about the last person. "Hello there, Naruto. It seems you have grown well. Already a B ranked nin in the bingo book. Oh, you make so proud," said Kakashi. He had lost everyone he could call nearly family. Naruto was the only one who he had left, and God knows he would do anything to protect him. "It's good see you as well, Kakashi ni, after all this time. I am hoping to learn a lot of lightning jutsus from you, you know," said Naruto happily. He was happy to meet Kakashi after nearly 6 months. Normally he was busy with missions and also they got less chances to meet. "I know Shisui here, so who are you, mister?" asked Naruto looking towards the unknown man. "My name is Tenzo, Naruto-san. But during duty I am Bearer Yamato," said the now identified Tenzo. "Pleased to meet you, Tenzo-senpai, but please just call me Naruto," said Naruto. Nodding his head at Naruto's request, he said, "Very well, Naruto. Now I suppose it's time to know what your mask is." "Hey, what about my introduction?" exclaimed Shisui. Well, nobody paid him attention. Seeing that, he started sulking in the corner of the room. "Anyways, where was I? Ah yes, what is your code name?" asked Tenzo. "It's Wolf. Talking about it, meet Ace, my partner and personal summon. He would be joining us on our missions," said Naruto. "It's nice to meet all of you. Let's work well together," said Ace. Nodding their head at that, they went on to discuss other things about how Naruto's training would go. what kind of battle formations they would use now with the inclusion of Ace in the mix. They decided to hold a spar amongst them to see the possible duos working together during missions. They finally decided that they would first train for the first few days, then start taking missions with their new member on the board. 2 months later. It's been 2 months since Naruto had joined the Anbu. The first month went in training and formulating battle strategies. Naruto had used the Anbu library to the fullest extent. Being an Anbu, you have the clearance to viewing the entire library. Naruto had used that and his shadow clones to a great extent to increase his prowess in shinobi arts. Naruto has learned about 25 new jutsus, 5 for each element, ranging from C-rank techniques to A-rank techniques. He has also started the Jonin level chakra control exercises to help improve his chakra control. But he has improved in his Fuinjutsu as well, recently being certified as a level 8 seal master. He has finally started on Jikuken ninjutsu, space-time techniques. He wishes to create his own Jikuken ninjutsu that, if possible, surpasses his father's and Nadime's Hiraishin. He has created a seal where he can the gravity over his enemies by more than 10 times the original, making them nearly immobile. On the same time, he wouldn't be affected by it. He named the seal, the Binder Seal. His sensei, Hiruzen, had said that this technique could be deadly, just like his father's Hiraishin, if he uses it properly. He and Ace have also improved their fighting style. They now work well together. He had asked Sume Inuzuka to give him some pointers regarding fighting with a Ninken, since she was supposedly the best at it. She had wholeheartedly agreed to help him. Since then, he had been training with her on Sundays along with Ace. During the start of the second month since joining the Anbu, he went on his first mission with his team. It was a border patrol mission. It was one of the most boring missions Naruto had to ever go. Kakashi and Tenzo, mainly Tenzo, had paired him with Shisui and Ace, stating that the three of them would nicely together. At this moment they were kneeling in front of Cheetah to get their next mission. The Anbu commander stood up from his desk and handed Kakashi a paper containing mission parameters. He then addressed us, Team RO, you are to go to the eastern part of Hai no Kuni to the small town of Kido. Reports say that some Iwa shinobis have taken over the town, you are to apprehend them. At least try to keep one of them alive, they could provide us with valuable information, he stated. Nodding our head, we were about to leave to prepare for the mission when the commander said, Inu, stay back, I need to talk to you alone. After the rest of the Team RO filtered out of the room, the Anbu commander turned towards Anbu Captain Inu. How is Naruto coming along, Inu? He asked, curiosity lacing his voice. He is improving at a freakish rate. He clearly mid-Jonin level shinobi. Though he cannot be called a genius like Itachi, but he is very smart. I would call him a genius of hard work. He gets the things better by doing them physically. I have no doubt in 2 years' time, he might be the one of the strongest, if not the strongest in the Anbu, finished Kakashi with touch of pride in his voice. Cheetah was pleased to hear this. It seems that his plan of making Naruto Namikaze a Anbu captain in 2 years' time would be a glaring possibility. At the rate he is improving, the commander was sure that by the time he reaches 20, there would hardly be a shinobi in or anywhere else for that matter that could take on Naruto one-on-one. He then dismissed Inu and told him to go and prepare for the mission that has been assigned. Inu quickly left the office and joined his team in the locker room. They packed the things they would require for this mission, and the 5 set off towards Kido to complete their assignment, a high A-rank mission. After few hours, in the town of Kido, western Hai no Kuni, Team RO reached the place after traveling for about 6 hours. At first glance the town was quite beautiful. It was surrounded by lush green forests on all sides with 2 hills overlooking it from the northern side of the town. Team RO silently made their way into the town, without being noticed by the town folks. They were planning on separating and looking for the perpetrators, but their attention was soon attracted towards a scream. They saw a Iowa shinobi with a scratched Hittite forcing the woman in the alleyway. He was trying to do something nasty to her. seeing that Naruto quickly shunshined near the duo and knocked the Iwa nin out. Seeing the woman still scared, he replied with a soothing tone, "Calm down, lady, we are here to help you." She visibly calmed down. Thanking her savior, she quickly made her way out of the alley and towards her home. Seeing the woman leave, the remaining 3 members of Team RO came down and stood beside Naruto. Tenzo then said, "You shouldn't have done that, Naruto, our cover could have been blown. Although you did a nice thing and saved a woman, so I guess it's okay for now." Shisui also added his 2 cents, "Yeah, you just jumped in like a hero, way to go saving a woman like that. Man, what would Yugao-chan think if she sees you with another woman?" he finished in a teasing fashion. Naruto turned cherry red hearing that. "It's nothing like that, baka. Me and Yugao-chan are just friends." He tried to defend himself. "It doesn't seem to me. You two are always together, do everything together, and I mean it." Shisui said with a cheery tone. "It's not like that," exclaimed a flustered Naruto. On the side, Kakashi made a note of the name, so that he could use it against Naruto as a teasing material in the future. "Alright, enough. Now what do with this Iwa shinobi?" asked Tenzo. "Shisui, use your Sharingan and see where the others are hiding. If he is a part of the group, then he must have the location of the camp," said Kakashi. "Hi Taiko," said Shisui, who then proceeded to use his dojutsu and scan the man's mind. After 5 minutes or so, he stood up. Turning towards the rest of the team, he spoke, "There are about 50 men controlling the village. All of them are either bandits or recently missing ninjas from Iwa. Only honorary mention could be told of Ika Kurosuke, A rank missing nin of Iwa, and Kurosuke Mitaya, A rank missing nin of Kiri. They also be meeting together in the city hall." Kakashi took all the information in and started devising a plan. He then proceeded to tell them the plan. At night, City Hall of Quito. The plan was quite simple. They would wait for the gathering to start so that all the ninjas and the bandits were present. It is then when they would strike. Shisui and Naruto along with Ace would be taking the first 25 of them, mainly the bandits. On the other hand, Kakashi and Tenzo would be taking care of mainly the missing ninjas. They waited patiently hidden from the sight of the attendees. They saw as the members of the gang started to fill the room. Soon after, the meeting started. It was mainly about how they were going to take added materials from the town folks and whatnot. Team RO waited patiently for them to relax before they would strike. The crowd was slowly settling down. Once they noticed that many of them were relaxed, Kakashi gave the signal. "Jiton, Cobalt Supreme Burial," called out Naruto. A huge amount of sand swirled and crashed into them, killing about 20 of them. The others somehow managed to escape the killing blow, though mostly everyone was injured. Kakashi quickly went for Kurosuke, whereas Tesno went for Ika. Before the rest could understand, they were standing in front of Naruto and Shisui. Both of them went through hand seals and yelled respectively. Fire Style, Dragon Flame Bullet, Fire Style, Phoenix Fire Jutsu. A huge fire dragon soared towards them along a fire phoenix. But it was the end of the misery as Ace added his own in the mix. Wind Style, Howling Wind. The wind then added to the potency of the fire techniques, increasing their strength significantly. As the combined wrath of a fire dragon and phoenix fire befell on them, they were turned to cinders. With the bandits and the lesser ninjas taken care of, both Naruto and Shisui went to help Kakashi and Tenzo respectively. Kakashi wasn't struggling with his opponent, but even then, he refused to take him lightly. They even stopped fighting as they watched the spectacle of Naruto's and Shisui's fire jutsus. The devastation left behind was amazing. Kakashi took notice that they separated and Naruto coming towards them, probably to help. Kakashi saw that his opponent was distracted, quickly took advantage and used his special jutsu. Reikiri. Kakashi shoved his hand into Kurosuke's chest, ending him. Naruto reached him only to see that his captain has already finished his job. Good job, Wolf. You did better than I expected, said Kakashi. Thank you, Captain. I was coming for help, but I didn't think you would need it, Naruto said, looking towards the fallen body of the missing ninja. Kakashi snorted. They have a long way to go before they catch me in serious trouble. Careful with that confidence, it might lead to your downfall, senpai, said Tenzo, as he and Shisui joined them. You say something, Kakashi drawled. Tenzo just sighed. Naruto and Shisui just tried to stop their laughter. After wrapping it up, they left for Konoha. Early morning. In the Anbu headquarters, Team RO were kneeled in front of their Anbu commander. Cheetah was looking over the details of the Anbu mission. Safe to say he was very pleased with how quickly the problem was taken care of. Team RO was for a reason one of the best teams in the entire Black Ops division. Team RO, you did well. Especially you, Wolf. You have improved in the last 2 months, but it's too early to celebrate. I hope that you keep taking your training seriously. Anyways, you all have today as a resting day. Tomorrow be here for another mission, said the Anbu commander. Team RO left the office, went towards their locker room. Changing and packing their stuff up, each of them went to enjoy their rest day. Hey Naruto, wait up. Let's go to the dango shop, my treat, said Shisui. Okay, I am waiting. Hurry up, replied Naruto. He and Ace waited there patiently for Shisui to finish. Later in the dango shop, Naruto and Shisui were seated side by side enjoying the dango on offer. It was still relatively early, so very few people were there on the streets. Ace was also there enjoying his own plate. Hey Naruto, I was thinking, why don't you and I start a tag team sort of thing? You know we kind of work very well together, said Shisui. Naruto pondered over the thought for some time. It was a very good proposition and he liked working with Shisui, and perhaps who knows, it might just be a hit. After thinking it over, he said, you know, it might not be a bad idea. Why not? Let's give it a try. Shisui smiled hearing it. Great. We would be one of the best tag teams. He replied enthusiastically. You know it, said Naruto, where he extended his fist to do a fist bump. Shisui bumped his fist. Neither knew that it was truly start of a tag team that would go down in history. UNDERFGROUND Base Konoha. Route Headquarters. Danzo was sitting in his office seething with the fact that Hiruzen has yet again refused to act against the Uchihas. He needed the Uchihas to go, they were a danger to Konoha. But, Hiruzen vehemently refused to take any actions. Instead, he took Itachi Uchiha as his student. In a way this would also win over the Uchiha clan over, but Danzo had other intentions. Another thing was the Namikaze brat. Danzo needed the boy on his side, so that he could get all the Uzumaki clan scrolls. It was only possible with the consent of the clan head, in this case Naruto. There was another way it can be opened, it was by using the blood of the current clan head. In other words, Naruto needed to die. He also knew that Hiruzen would be training either of his students as the next Hokage, so for him get the seat, he needed the other possible candidates gone. Itachi was too precious because of his Sharingan. But the Namikaze was expendable. He would die for the betterment of Konoha. Soon Hiruzen. Very soon I will be the Hokage. What would happen next? Anbu Commander Cheetah was completing his daily quota of paperwork. It was funny to see the near-invincible Anbu commander being defeated by paperwork. The commander let a sigh of frustration escape. No matter what he did, the paperwork was always a pain to him. He lifted his head and looked towards the wall, more specifically the picture of Team RO along with him. It was taken nearly 3 years ago. He was particularly seeing one member of the team. It was Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, known all across elemental nations as Jiten no Naruto, an A-ranked ninja, according to the bingo book. That was though about nearly a year ago. If Cheetah had to say, then he would rank Naruto as a high A-rank shinobi, maybe even a borderline S rank, and that was frightening. A mere boy of 13 being that strong. He knew that only a handful people in the village could best the A-rank ninja. Naruto was, without a doubt, one of the strongest the village had to offer. He would bet all his earnings in the last 3 years, that by the time Naruto is 18, he would be the strongest shinobi in the village, and that says something considering the fact that the Sandaime still could defeat multiple S-ranked ninjas on his own. He was not called the god of shinobi for nothing. Another thing that was occupying his thought was promotion. Naruto was already a Jonin, being promoted the previous year. The promotion he was thinking was Anbu captain. Both he and Shisui have shown qualities far above an average Anbu, and much above an Anbu captain. Although, Shisui Uchiha was promoted to Anbu captain about 6 months ago, now was probably the time to promote the last member of Team RO to Anbu captain. Deciding his next course of actions, he decided to confirm this fact with Hiruzen. In Cha no Kuni, land of tea. With Naruto, Shisui and Anbu Team Delta. Naruto was sighting over a tree top, overlooking the beautiful scenery in Cha no Kuni. They were in a month-long mission. This was his 10th mission leading a squad. Though Shisui was with the squad, the Anbu commander ordered Naruto to lead the squad. He was perched atop a tree, silently enjoying the view. Shisui and Ace have gone to gather information regarding the group they were following. The others were setting up the camp, not so far from his location. They were going to apprehend this group of ninjas, as they have been stealing very precious cargo goods heading towards Hai no Kuni. He was happy with the progress he himself made as a shinobi. Being a certified A-ranked ninja in the bingo book was achievement in itself. He was also now a level 10 Fuinjutsu master. He had completely mastered his father's space-time barrier techniques. He also has started on his project. He was trying to develop a space-time ninjutsu. Though he was still in the theory portion and had a long way to go, but if he could complete it then, it would be no doubt a technique that may eclipse even Hiraishin. But the main thought that has been plaguing his mind was Yugao. He has been friends with her for nearly 8 years, and had feelings for her for nearly 5 years now. But he was still chickening out of the chance to ask her out. He didn't know if Yugao thought about the same way or not, and that was the main reason he was afraid of voicing his feelings. He looked towards the blue sky and sighed. She was by far the only person who understood him completely. Whenever he was with her, he felt happy. Seeing her smile was one of the best things he had ever witnessed. He felt happy and content when he spent time with her. Yet, with all the feelings clearly indicating that he had feelings for her, he was not sure if those feelings were reciprocated or not. It was this thought that prevented him from confessing his love for her. "Something's troubling you," came a voice from behind him. "Nothing, Shisui," said Naruto, having already sensed the Uchiha approaching for some time. "Common, saying your mind's worries lessens the burden," said Shisui. "It's Yugao," replied Naruto. The one word made it clear to Shisui what the problem was. He was amused how two lovebirds, in literal terms, didn't understand each other's feelings. "What about her?" he asked, although he was quite sure what the problem was. "It's just that no matter how much I try, I just can't tell her about my feelings," said Naruto. "Why? What's stopping you?" asked Shisui. He knew very well that both of them would end up with each other. "I don't know if she feels the same way about me," he said. Hearing the reason, Shisui couldn't help but laugh. He laughed so hard that he almost lost his footing and fell down the tree. "Hey, it's not funny," shouted Naruto, annoyed. "Ha ha ha. Oh, my stomach. It's damn funny, Naruto," said Shisui as he slowly recovered his breath. "And how is it funny?" asked Naruto, his annoyance increasing. "It's because you are so thick-headed in these matters that you couldn't see what was right in front of your eyes. The entire village knows that Yugao has a thing for you and you for her," said Shisui calmly. "Huh," was the intelligent reply he received from Naruto, who was blushing furiously. He was both embarrassed and happy. Embarrassed due to the fact that the entire village knew that, and happy that his longtime crush reciprocated his feelings. "Yep, and it's about damn time you two get together. She is quite the looker, so get her before anyone else does. Also seal the deal while you are at it," Shisui said, the last part with a teasing look on his face. "Shut up. We are not that serious right now, at least let me confess, said Naruto. When? Asked Shisui. Now this was news. He had to tell everyone the special date, they had been waiting for this for a long time. After I return from this mission, stated Naruto. He looked like a man on a mission. Shisui made a note to keep an eye on them. Also, he had to inform the others. Anyways, what news have you got on the mission? Asked Naruto seriously. He was in business mood now. Shisui also got serious. There are about 10 ninjas, all C rank and above. With their leader being Akama Hitoshi, the A rank missing nin from Suna. They are planning to move out of this small town to the next one tomorrow, he finished his finding. Suna huh? They don't have many missing ninja, him being one of the very few that leave the village, Naruto said. He then focused coming up with a plan. After coming up with one, he looked towards Shisui. Let's go, meet others and there I will tell the plan. If you have any inputs or recommendation then give it there. Shisui nodded as both shinobi jumped off the tree making their way towards their other comrades. Once reaching the camp, Naruto gathered everyone. They all sat down in a circle where Naruto relayed his plans to them. Alright, listen up, Lizard, Mouse and Ferret, you three would be taking about 6 of them, finish them if they don't surrender. Shisui and I would be facing the other 4, we will try to keep at least one alive for questioning. Any questions? Asked Naruto. All of them shook their head in negative. Seeing their reaction, Naruto said, alright, we would move to complete the mission tonight. We have information that they would be moving to the next town. We will intercept and ambush them in the forest on the way. Get some rest, I will be a long night, finished Naruto. Hi Wolf Taicho. They all said in unison. After that everyone had their meal, and went to take some rest. Naruto and Ace perched themselves up on the tree. In the last 3 years Ace had grown a lot, he was now of the same height as Naruto, being 5 feet 3 which is above average height. Ace had mastered both his affinities, training with Naruto and his pack. Naruto was also selected to train in Senjutsu by the wolves. They think that Naruto would do by being a sage. He was eagerly looking forward to his training with his summons. They spent the rest of the time resting, until the night came. The entire squad packed their stuff and got ready for their mission. They have been trying to locate this group for the last 3 weeks, and have finally found it. They were not going to blow this opportunity up. So, preparing for the attack, they went on to follow the group. It was nearly midnight, when they saw a dense forest ahead. Naruto without looking back did some hand signs, which the Anbu understood. What Naruto was using was Anbu signs. He told his team, be ready, when we enter the forest we hit. The others nodded their heads getting the command from their captain. Soon the group of bandits entered the forest. Naruto and others followed them in. They kept their guards up, since in Shinobi world nothing is impossible. Naruto looked towards his team and gave them a curt nod. The mission was a go. Lizard, Ferret and Mouse went for their targets. The 10 shinobi had no idea that the Anbu were there. The 3 Anbu quickly swept over their targets. Shisui went for his own targets. Naruto said to Ace without looking towards him, Ace, get the other one. I am taking Hitoshi. Nodding his head, Ace went for the last target. With Naruto, Lizard and the others have already ambushed their targets and neutralized half of them. Hitoshi was looking frantically for a way to escape successfully. Going somewhere? Asked a smooth voice. Hitoshi turned and saw a wolf-faced Anbu. Hitoshi guessed him to be a child, by his looks. He also saw the golden blonde locks of hairs and felt a sense of foreboding being in the presence of the Anbu. He quickly threw some shurikens towards the Anbu which he easily dodged. You have to do better than that, the Anbu in wolf mask in a smooth voice. The in his voice infuriated Hitoshi to no end. He quickly went through hand seals and said, wind style, wind bullets, bullets of wind of the size of a ball went towards him. Naruto raised his hand and formed the tiger seal and said, fire style, firball justu, a ball of fire of the size of Naruto flew towards the wind bullets, neutralizing them. Seeing his technique being cancelled, he cursed and again went through some hand seals, earth style, earth boulder crush. 2 boulders rose from the side of Naruto and crushed him. He stood there thinking that he got the Anbu, when a voice came from behind, "It's over." Squelch. A wet sound was heard by Hitoshi and he felt a searing pain coming from his chest. He looked down and saw a katana protruding out from his chest. He widened his eyes and looked back. He was met with the same wolf Anbu he thought he had crushed standing behind him holding the katana that was going through his chest. "Who are you?" he muttered weakly, his vision was getting blurred. "Your end," said the Anbu, as he pulled the katana out of his chest. Hitoshi's dead body fell unceremoniously on the ground. He took out a cloth to clean his katana. He then proceeded to seal Hitoshi's body in a storage scroll to collect his bounty later. Naruto was then joined by Ace and Shisui. "It seems you have taken care of it," said Ace. "Was there ever any doubt?" asked Naruto, feeling a little insulted. "You can never be always sure, Wolf," said Shisui. "Yeah, right. Anyway, what about the others?" asked Naruto. "They have completed their assignments and are waiting for you," said Shisui. Nodding his head, Naruto beckoned the other 2 to follow him to meet the others. When he reached, he saw 3 shinobi being held captive by them. "So, these 3 surrendered, huh?" he stated calmly. "Hi Taicho, these 3 surrendered. We killed the others as you said," finished Lizards a little uneasily. He was new to Anbu, so this cold killing was getting him a bit. The same thought was also going through the heads of the other 2. They wrapped up their mission there. They put the captives in the prison scrolls. These were Naruto's very own creations. These scrolls were used to capture and hold the prisoners or any person for that matter. It was used mainly by the Anbu and the Uchiha police force, to catch and transport the criminals, so it came to be known as prison scrolls. They were making quite the distance with the speed they were traveling. Naruto and Shisui could feel the sense of uneasiness from the new Anbu operatives. Naruto decided to address the issue later, when they would stop for a little break. Which by the way happened pretty soon as all of them were tired after running for 6 hours straight at mid-Jonin level speed. The 6 of them sitting in a circle eating their ration bars, when Naruto spoke up, "Lizard, Mouse, Ferret, what's the matter? You 3 feel a little uneasy." "It's nothing Taicho," they all said in unison. They didn't want their Captain Wolf and Crow to think that they are mentally weak. "Common. Sometimes saying your problem helps to lessen the unease," stated Naruto, taking a book out of Shisui's book. Shisui gave him a playful glare, which he seemed to miss. The 3 new recruits looked at each other, then finally Ferret asked, "It's just killing in cold blood seems wrong. You know, when we killed the others back there, they were helpless and without their weapons. Normal ethics say that we should not kill a defenseless opponent, yet we just did it. Senpai, how do you or Crow Senpai there deal with this?" she asked. Naruto and Shisui understood what they meant. They also didn't like to do such killings, but they had to since that was the job of an Anbu. They protect the village from the shadows. Naruto looked at the 3 new Anbu. "It's true what you just said that about ethical point of view. I even agree with that. But we are not regular shinobis. We are the Anbu. We take the darkness so that others in the village can live peacefully. Yes, we kill in cold blood today, so that the future children do not have to kill in cold blood. We do this to protect the king," said Naruto passionately. The 3 newbies were amazed by the speech their captain gave them. They came to terms with their doing, but even then, it didn't make it any less difficult to them. Seeing their uneasiness, Shisui said, "I know it can be difficult to come to terms with it, take it from us too, we have been in the Anbu for nearly 3 years now. You may fear that you might become something you don't want to, but that's just the part of the job. Do not ever enjoy killing, and always give one last prayer to the soul you kill. You will see that it lessens the burden a lot." Lizard and the others nodded at this advice and quickly said a silent prayer to the ones they killed. It did bring them some sort of closure. Ferret looked towards her captain and asked, Taicho, how do you do it? You are so young. I mean no offense by that. She quickly finished. She didn't want to insult her captain. She knew that Wolf was one of the very best the Anbu has to offer. He wasn't an A-ranked ninja for nothing. She had heard that maybe only Crow, Inu, Weasel and Anbu Commander Cheetah are the only one who can give him a fight. That list itself was dangerous, so she knew her captain was quite good. But, then also she couldn't help but ask the question. Seeing her, Naruto chuckled a little. No need to be afraid, Ferret, I have taken no offense in that. What you said was true, it's never easy to end a life. That's why I also follow the advice Shisui gave to you all. Another thing that perhaps brings some comfort to me will be my will to protect what's precious to me. I take these missions so that I can protect my precious people, so that thought that if I do something bad today, then my precious people would remain safe brings me a little comfort, said Naruto. He always took on the dirty work so that his precious people could be safe. He had already lost his family, so he absolutely refuses to lose the one he has gained. Alright everyone, let's hit the road, I hope we would reach Konoha by tomorrow, said Naruto. Nodding their heads, the group hit the road again. After traveling for another 6 hours, they were more than halfway to Konoha. The sun had already set. It is then they reached a clearing of sorts in the forest. Naruto addressed the group, alright, let's camp here for the night. Ferret and Mouse, go get us some water and food. Shisui got and cut some log and bring us some woods. Hey. I don't want to cut logs, interrupted Shisui. Naruto ignored him and continued, Lizard and I would set up the camp, he finished. Mouse and Ferret went without any complaint, whereas Shisui was grumbling something about stupid blondes, even though he went to complete the given task. Ace just lie down under a tree to take a nap before supper. After having dinner, which was a pleasant affair as everyone shared some of their pleasant memories with each other, they went to sleep. Shisui advocated for the first shift. It was midnight. Shisui was sitting in front of the fire thinking deeply about something. So, what is the Uchiha clan planning? Asked a voice from behind. Shisui snapped his head towards that direction to see Naruto standing. Naruto came up and took a seat beside him. They fell into an uncomfortable silence, which was broken by Shisui. What do you mean by planning, Naruto? The Uchihas are planning nothing, said Shisui. Oh please, I can see the tension between the village and the clan rising by the day. It is still less now, but by end of next year it might be quite palpable. Another fact that the Uchihas are separating themselves from the village. Many of the fighting shinobis from the Uchiha side are slowly withdrawing. Something big is about to happen in the coming years, I can feel it won't be pretty, said Naruto in a sad but serious tone. He didn't want something drastic to happen. Shisui couldn't help but be impressed by his longtime partner. He knew Naruto was intelligent and observant, but this was something else. He just picked up the situation, where even Shikaku failed. He released a sigh of resignation. He knew that now he could not hide anything from Naruto. He looked towards the fireplace and said, the Uchihas are planning something alright. But the entire clan is in the mix. Only the head and the elders are planning this. Many of the shinobi force is also supporting their motion. They are slowly separating from the village. According to my guess, they are planning a coup, finished Shisui somberly. Naruto was shocked hearing the word coup. He didn't want to think that some persons he held dear were having such traitorous ideas. He looked towards Shisui and asked, does Makoto Oba-san also? He couldn't finish. He didn't want to think such a thing. No, Makoto-san isn't a part of it at all. Although Fugaku is. I am the only one who knows this. I was planning on telling this to Itachi, but you also found out, said Shisui. And exactly what would have happened by telling Itachi? Asked Naruto. He didn't mind not being told, as this was a clan matter, so he understood the secrecy. Well, I don't know, said Shisui, rubbing his head sheepishly. This is dangerous situation, if not taken care now could lead to a catastrophe. But I need to ask you something, Shisui. On whose side would you be if it ever came to taking arms? Finished Naruto calmly. Shisui didn't answer at first but then said, on Konoha's side. Naruto let a sigh of relief. He didn't want to face one of his best friends in a death match. Thank goodness, he muttered. Don't worry, I am sure the thing won't escalate. Plus, I would be there to help at any time, said Naruto smiling. Thanks Naruto, it means a lot buddy, said Shisui. He was very grateful to have a friend like Naruto. Come and go and have some sleep. I will take over, said Naruto. Shisui thanked him and went to sleep. He needed rest as well. Next day, Konoha Anbu headquarters. The entire team was kneeling in front of the Anbu commander. Naruto with his wolf mask on was giving an oral report of the events that occurred in the mission. After listening to it, Anbu commander addressed them, Team Delta, you did a good job. The 3 captives you brought would be taken for interrogation and then if eligible will be given a chance to join the village. Now take the next 3 days rest. Meet me on Monday to take another mission. Dismissed. Wolf and Crow stay back. The other 3 emptied the room. The only ones left were Wolf, Ace, Crow and Anbu Commander Cheetah. The commander looked towards them and said, you two will be having new missions as a tag team for the upcoming month. The both of you are the best fighters we have, so I want an invincible duo, to whom I can give the most dangerous of missions, he said. Both Naruto and Shisui nodded their head at this. The Anbu commander then took a scroll and threw it towards Naruto, who caught it easily. Naruto looked towards him with a curious expression. The commander chuckled, your performance has been outstanding in the last 3 years, Wolf. As such, seeing your capabilities, it has been decided to promote you to Anbu captain officially. I have tested your leadership qualities by giving you teams to lead. They have all said only positive things about you, and have expressed their interest to work under OYU. That says a lot and helped in making the decision, said the commander with a hint of pride in his voice. Naruto was shocked to say the least. He didn't expect to be promoted to captain just yet, but he was really happy. Now he had another reason to celebrate if Yugao accepted his proposal. Remembering that it was still early, he could still ask Yugao today, so he decided to finish it up here quickly. He looked towards his commander and said, thank you for this, commander. I will do my best. Good. I expect a lot of great things from you, Wolf. Make this village proud, said the commander. Hi, now if you would excuse me, I have someone to visit, said Naruto. The commander nodded his head. Naruto and Ace left at this signal. The commander looked towards Shisui and said, he seemed a man on a mission. Do you know what's up? Shisui chuckled. He is most probably going for Yugao. He has decided to finally ask her out, he said. Finally, the Anbu commander muttered. Well, I also need to go. I have a lot of people to say this piece of information, said Shisui and vanished in his trademark shunshin. Damn brat, can't let his friend enjoy the day, said the commander, as he too went back to his paperwork. Sometime later, Training Ground 7, clang, clang. The sounds of metal hitting metal was heard in the clearing of the training ground. 2 persons were practicing their kenjutsu. One of them was raven-haired boy. He was renowned as Genso no Itachi, all across elemental nations. The boy was Itachi Uchiha. He was the prodigy of the Uchiha clan, one of the best Sharingan since Madara Uchiha. He was next in the line of becoming the head of the Uchiha clan. He is also a part of the Anbu for a year now, working under the alias as Weasel. The other was purple-haired girl. She was of the same age as him. She was Yugao Azuki. She was a kenjutsu and ninjutsu specialist. She was known as Konoha no Ha no Aijin, Konoha's blade mistress, due to mastery over her kenjutsu. She was marked as B-rank ninja in the bingo book. Both of them were promoted to Jonin due to their skill and mission success rate. Not only that, seeing the 3 proceed so quickly through the ranks, they received a moniker like the Sanin. They came to be known as Konoha no Sansu Hoshi, Konoha's 3 stars. That title was given to them by the fire daimyo who once witnessed them in action. Hiruzen couldn't be prouder of his students, they have exceeded all his expectations. They are now accomplished ninja. He saw as two of his students went at it again, but couldn't help but think that Yugao was frustrated for some reason. On the other hand, Yugao was frustrated, a lot. It has been a month since she has seen Naruto, moreover that stupid blonde still didn't get that she had feelings for him. She was getting impatient. She has been waiting for him to ask her but he was too damn dense. She was fearing that maybe he didn't have any such feelings for her. It was then when they saw someone appear in the field through a shunshin. They looked towards the direction and saw the last of the Sansu Hoshi appear in the field. It was their teammate Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Seeing him she instantly brightened up, but frowned a little seeing the serious expression on her face. Itachi had also noticed his best friend's appearance. "Hello there Naruto-kun. How was your mission?" asked Hiruzen. He was little confused to see the expression on his face. He was like a man on a mission. "Just a little earlier sensei," replied Naruto calmly, still looking towards the direction of the person who he was looking for. Hiruzen followed his sight and was surprised to see it was directed to Yugao. He decided to see how it played it out. "Hey there Naruto, want to have a spar? It has been a long time since you and I have had a spar," said Itachi. Naruto shook his head in negative. "Sorry buddy, not now, I have some business to attend immediately," said Naruto. He walked towards them and stood before Yugao and asked, "Yugao-chan, will you come with me for a second? I want to have a word in private." Yugao was first surprised at such a request, but nodded her head. She followed him to the woods to get some privacy. Meanwhile Hiruzen and Itachi stood there dumbfounded. They couldn't wrap their head around what just happened. It was at this time that Izumi, Hirako along with Shisui arrived at the spot. Hirako was a recently promoted Jonin and Izumi was now working at the hospital. She was accomplished medic nin. She was hands down one of the best in the entire village. She has been making a name for herself as the second Tsunade, because of her skills in medical ninjutsu. Hirako was one of the best taijutsu fighters around. He has been recently promoted to Jonin along with Yugao. He was also working hard for joining the Anbu. His dream is to be a Anbu captain. So, he has already taken her, said Shisui, smiling slyly. "You know what's going on?" asked the Sandame. "You could say that. That's why I am happy that both Izumi and Hirako here, so that they couldn't miss this opportunity. After all, not every day you get to see two lovers unite," said Shisui. Hiruzen's and Itachi's eyes widened at the piece of information. It seems Naruto had decided to ask Yugao out. Though they knew the answer already, but this was news. Izumi and Hirako also didn't expect that. They had come to visit their friends, but never did they think that they would see this. Izumi decided to tell Hana, Anko and Kurenai later about this. After all, both she and Yugao were very good friends with them. "Well, it was about damn time," said Hirako. Others just nodded at his words. With Naruto and Yugao, Naruto had taken her into the woods, far away from both his sensei and Itachi to ask her out. He couldn't do this in front of them, he would be too embarrassed to say anything. He was leading Yugao towards the clearing up ahead, he was getting nervous as well. As they reached the clearing, he turned towards Yugao to face her. He placed himself in front of her so that he could look into those eyes. He started, "Yugao, you have been by my side for a long time now. You came when I needed someone the most to understand me. You have supported me all along by being there for me. At first, I only thought you as a friend and nothing else, but slowly I started feeling differently towards you. I couldn't understand these feelings first, but now I know, it was love. Yugao Azuki, I love you. Will you be my girlfriend?" He finished a little louder than he would have liked. Yugao was standing still there, her mind processing everything. Slowly tears started forming in the corner of her eyes. She never expected him to ask her out today all of a sudden, but she couldn't be happy. She looked towards Naruto lovingly and said, "Naruto-kun, I have also had feelings for you a long time. I thought that perhaps you didn't think about me the same way as I do. But now I am so happy I can't express in words. So, I will say it in clear terms. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, I love you. And I agree to be your girlfriend. Naruto could feel his heart beat against his chest when she said those words. He was so happy that he couldn't form words. He quickly hugged her, saying, "Thank you." His happiness contagious as Yugao slowly returned the hug. She too was on cloud nine. They separated. Naruto again said, "Yugao-chan, let's go on our first date tonight. I have already booked a place so you don't have to worry." In truth, Naruto had sent a clone to book a seat in the Golden Leaf Hotel for tonight for them. Yugao couldn't be happier than this. She said, "Of course, Naruto-kun, I will meet you at 6 in the evening. Now let's return. Others might get worried." She took his hands in hers and squeezed it a little. Naruto squeezed her hand in return and nodded his head as they headed back. As they reached the clearing Yugao was training previously, they saw Hiruzen, Itachi, Izumi, Hirako and Shisui standing there with sly smiles plastered on their faces. Naruto and Yugao already knew that the people standing before them knew what had transpired between them. While Yugao's mind was thinking how they came to know, Naruto was thinking of strangling Shisui to death at this moment. "It seems you have some good news to give us, Naruto," said Shisui. Naruto's left eye twitched dangerously at him. He looked up only to see the sly expression on his face that infuriated him more. He took a huge breath of air to calm himself down and said, "Thanks to you now everyone knows." "Ah, why thank you?" Shisui chirped. "Bastard," muttered Naruto, though everyone heard it and couldn't help but chuckle. "Well, are you two together?" asked Izumi excitedly. Yugao blushed crimson before nodding her head at her question. Naruto also couldn't help himself but smile bashfully. "Well, I think it calls for celebration," said Hirako. He was very happy for both his friends. About that, I and Yugao-chan would be busy tonight, but I promise to give a treat soon," said Naruto. He had already planned for tonight and wouldn't miss it for the world. "Oh, a date huh?" said Shisui teasingly. He chuckled seeing the blushes that were adorning their faces. Naruto reluctantly nodded his head, as the others started to chuckle again. "I am happy for both of you," said Itachi, smiling with genuine happiness for his teammates. Hiruzen came forward and placed a hand on top each of their heads and said, "You two have my blessings. I hope you two find happiness in each other," he finished in a grandfatherly tone. Thanking all of them, Naruto and Yugao separated, although reluctantly, to prepare for their date that evening. They were to meet after few hours in front of Yugao's house. Naruto had gone to pick her up for their first date. He was wearing a black shirt and blue jeans that were gifted to him by his Makoto Oba-san. He was waiting in front of her house thinking about the date. He was brought out of his musings when he heard the house's main door open. He looked only to be presented with the sight of Yugao wearing a sundress. The dress was accentuating her beautiful figure. "Beautiful," muttered Naruto absent-mindedly. Hearing his compliment, Yugao blushed a little but quickly smiled thinking that Naruto had liked her attire. "You look handsome as well, Naruto-kun," she said. Smiling, Naruto extended his hand for her, which she took. He looked towards her and said, "Let's head out, shall we?" "Yes, let's," she replied. They went to the Golden Leaf, where Naruto had booked a seat. Naruto was rich in his own right due to the amount missions he had done which were A rank and above. Yugao was surprised by the choice of hotel. She knew that you have to book early to get a seat in this hotel. They entered the hotel hand in hand, when the manager came and asked, "Sir, do you have a booking?" "Yes, by the name Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze," said Naruto calmly. "Ah, welcome Namikaze-sama, this way please." The manager led them to a couple's table in the far corner. The seat was chosen by Naruto so that they could have their dinner without any disturbance. Soon after settling down, they ordered their dishes they would have. The dinner was fantastic as they talked about each other's likes, missions and other mundane stuff. For Yugao it was a brilliant date and she couldn't ask for a better first date than that. As they left the hotel after dinner, they hit the road in comfortable silence. Hey Yugao-chan, come with me, I am going to take you to my favorite place, said Naruto suddenly, as he scooped Yugao in his arms and made a leap towards the Hokage monument. Yugao was blushing at the contact and the way Naruto was carrying her. Naruto took her straight to the first Hokage's face on the mountain. He gently let her down and took her hand in his. Look in front of you, Yugao-chan, he said in soothing yet melodic voice. Yugao looked forward and saw what could be one of the best scenes she had seen in her life. The entire Konoha was visible from there. The nighttime lightings made the view even more beautiful. She could see the people moving across the streets, smiling and talking. She could even notice the dango shop where she and others met for fun. Matter of fact, she could see Anko and Kurenai sitting there enjoying dango. Overall, it was breathtaking sight for her. It's my favorite spot in the entire village. No one knows about it except you. I always come here when I either feel sad or depressed. I come here to clear my mind. Seeing the village happy and in peace brings great joy to me, said Naruto. Thank you Naruto-kun for showing me this place. It is truly a wonderful place, she said. Yeah, I always wanted to show it to you. You know, after all you are the girl I love, Naruto said lovingly as he gazed towards her. Yugao also was looking lovingly into his sapphire blue eyes and could feel it drawing her towards him. Unconsciously, their faces leaned towards the other slowly. Their eyes held nothing but love and adoration for the other. Their lips met for the first time. Both of them tried to savor the experience. After a few minutes they parted in need for air. I love you Yugao-chan, said Naruto. I love you more Naruto-kun. They held each other for a long time as they spent their time there enjoying the view. After 2 hours they finally made their way back home from a brilliant date. 2 months later, Naruto was walking towards the Hokage Tower. He was in his normal Jonin attire as today was his off day from the Anbu. These past 2 months have been nothing short of incredible for both Naruto and Yugao. They have spent a lot of time together in their spare time. They also gone 2 more dates after that. Their relationship has become public thanks to their friend Shisui. Naruto grimaced remembering the attention they gained in the village. Makoto and Yuki have barreled him with questions regarding his date. They somehow also took responsibility on educating him on normally a woman likes, much to his embarrassment. Also, the news of him becoming a Anbu captain also spread like wildfire. He was after all the youngest ever to be given the spot of Anbu captain. The village started revere him like some sort of hero, which to him was unjustful. He was also not looking forward to having a conversation with Yugao regarding his recent decision. He entered the Hokage office without knocking and was awarded with the sight of his sensei reading a smut book. Naruto sighed dejectedly as he thought that all the elderly he was surrounded by are perverts. Sensei, what are you? Never mind, I have something to talk to you, said Naruto. Hiruzen perked up at that and saw his student's expression and blushed in embarrassment of being caught by his student for the nth time. He quickly put his book away, and looked towards his student and asked, what does that want to talk about Naruto-kun? It's about a trip I mean to take for the next 2 months, said Naruto. Trip? Asked Hiruzen. He thought that Naruto was asking for a vacation. Yeah, I need to make a trip to the seas and then to Land of Iron for a few days. This is mostly for training as I found some places where I can train my Jiden to its highest extent, said Naruto. Hiruzen thought about it for a moment. He had gotten information that there have been some movements on the border as other villages have been testing the borders. Sending one of his best shinobis to Umi and Tetsu no Kuni did seem a little difficult because of them were close to Iwa. Iwa also didn't have a good relationship with Naruto due to its past assassination attempts. He thought of a compromise as the other shinobi might also want to have a little break from active duty. I would allow you to go Naruto-kun but not alone. It's not that I don't trust your abilities, but even the best of shinobis can be overwhelmed at times. And any training related to Jiden is normally taxing even for you, so you would need someone to help you a little, said Hiruzen. Naruto sighed. He knew that the training would most likely render him non-combatable for a few hours and the enemies might take advantage of that fact. He knew that he might need a little support, so he decided to relent and accept his sensei's terms. Alright sensei, I would take someone with me, but please do choose wisely, okay? Said Naruto. Very well. I choose Kakashi Hatake as your companion for this trip, said Hiruzen. He knew with Kakashi present they wouldn't have much problem as both shinobis were brilliant shinobis. Someone attacking them alone would be suicide. Naruto was surprised by his sensei's choice, but relented nonetheless. Okay, I have no problem, said Naruto. Hiruzen nodded his head, pleased that his choice was accepted. He also remembered his student's new relationship and asked, does Yugao-chan knows about this? He asked. Naruto sighs, no, not yet. I was going to talk to her after I got your permission, said Naruto. Best of luck, said Hiruzen. Naruto shook his head and took his permission to leave. After leaving the office he went straight to Yugao's house. As he reached his destination, he noticed her in the garden watering the plants. Hey there Yugao-chan, he said as he called out to her. Seeing him, Yugao smiled and walked towards him and gave him a peck on the lips. What are you doing here, Naruto-kun? Not that I am not happy that my boyfriend came to visit me, she said sweetly. I have something to talk about, he said rather guiltily. What is it? She asked, feeling that she might not like the answer he was going to give. I will be leaving the village for 2 months. I am going on a training trip, said Naruto. His heart broke when he saw the sad face of his girlfriend. Do you have to go? She asked pleadingly for him to answer her no. Naruto sighed and wrapped his arms around her, bringing her into a hug. He just couldn't see her sad. He patted her back soothingly and said, Yugao-chan, this is a trip I have to go to master my Jiden. I promise you that if I could take you I would, but this is dangerous and I don't want to see you hurt. Just wait for me a little, okay? These 2 months would just fly by. Yugao nodded her head and looked up to him from his chest and said, I will, Naruto-kun, just be safe and return to me in one piece. I love you too much to lose you. I love you more than anything, Yugao-chan, said Naruto lovingly. Now all that left was to make the journey to Umi and Tetsu no Kuni to gain complete control over his Jiden. Konoha Underground. Route Headquarters. Is this piece of information completely authentic? Asked a voice. Yes, Danzo-sama. Naruto Namikaze is going to Umi and Tetsu no Kuni to train. He will be accompanied by Kakashi Hatake, the copy ninja, said a root shinobi kneeling in front him. The now identified Dons hummed. This was a prime opportunity to remove one of the biggest obstacles in his way to become Hokage. If he could kill Namikaze, then a strong candidate for the position as well as one of Hiruzen's ultimate supporters would die. This would be a huge boost to him. He needed to play this well. He took a pen and wrote down a letter and sealed in a scroll. He then handed the letter to the shinobi. Take this to Karasu. It's time we took out the last Namikaze, he said ominously.